I'm Dottie. I have a Ford E250 Super Duty Extended Series van. It's a 2009. I bought it in March and I moved into it in August. And I've been living in it for 3 months now. All right, so welcome inside Loretta, the Ramblin' van. She's named after some John Prine and Townes Van Zandt. This is the kitchen slash bathroom area, right? Because when you have one sink, it is both the kitchen and your bathroom sink. So this is where I brush my teeth and do my dishes. It's fancy. My stove and my main thing all slide in here. I originally built this to hold a camp stove, but then it wouldn't fit on my countertop. So downsized to a 1 burner. This bad boy just holds, you know, your general kitchen drawer junk. It is the junk drawer, plates, knives, spoons, everything that you need. And then I have all my food just in these bins because I can pull them out really easily. And I was really tired of making drawers, so I didn't want to make any more. So that's where I keep like more pots and pans and all of my food. The windowsill here, because like the way I built the kitchen, the window is behind my counter. So I cut a little piece out so it now also stores kitchen stuff. So like olive oil, booze, my Clorox wipes for cleaning things off. And then I can still reach in here and close and open the window. So it works out really well. Other than that, like this side is kitchen stuff. We have all my spices, and then this is all bathroom. So it works out well to have one space that works for multiple things. And that is, oh, and then, you know, down here we have all the cleaning supplies, cat food, that kind of stuff, and then water storage and trash can hidden by a fancy little curtain so you don't have to look at it. My refrigerator lives in this drawer, so it just slides out, and I have a 12-volt chest dial. It actually does fridge and freezer, but I never use the freezer side. I keep one slightly colder, and I keep my produce in one side. And then the other side houses like condiments, milk, and all the other things you keep in your fridge. And then above that is actually one of my favorite parts of the van. So this was supposed to be a pull-out desk. It didn't really work out very well, but my dad took that idea one step further, and I open it up and it stores all my office supplies. So this is my office, and then I can just shut it and store it away. So it's really cool. The bench that I have is an old table that I repurposed. And so inside this one is my toilet that I have. I mostly use it when I'm in the city and I can't go like dig a hole or dump my pee jug. So that's what that is, more for like the emergency moments. And then this side over here is just like extra storage. It has my pots and pans. Way down below is like craft supplies. It's also how I turn my inverter on and off. For electrical, I have, right, this is my little monitor to monitor. I have 2 100 amp hour AGM batteries, and they're connected to 3 110 watt solar panels. Yeah, so I have 330 watts of solar panel and the 2 100 AGM batteries. And so far I have had no problems having enough electricity at all. And then the inverter, I only flip it on when I need to charge my laptop, I use my waffle maker, or I use my toaster or my curling iron. So most of the time it's off, and then I just flip it on when I need to use it. So I knew I wanted storage, but I didn't want like tons of cabinets that felt like they were gonna close in the space. So I just built open shelves. This side has like more of my mementos that I wanted to bring in the van. So this is like a trophy from performing, my like lovely beer can from the day I was born, book storage. And then over here is like vitamins and essential oils and books. So then on this side of the van, this here originally started out as like a makeup station. And then it quickly turned into like my altar, which these things flip-flopped. But inside the closet up here is mostly like kitchen storage. I have my snacks. There's more Tupperware. It's where my tea kettle lives. And then I also sew. So like there's sewing and craft supplies in here. And then down at the bottom is where I stuff all my dirty clothes so they don't have to live on the bottom of the floor. I got into van life because I lived in New York City for 13 years as a full-time showgirl, bartender, trainer, essentially all of the jobs that were no longer in existence when COVID hit. So I lost all of my forms of income, and after a few months, it just was deplete my savings account to stay in New York City or leave. So I moved in with my parents. My mom and my stepdad actually have lived full-time in an RV for 6 years, so apple doesn't fall far from the tree there. And my brother owns an old school van that he has decked out, and he just takes short weekend trips in. So that's kind of what inspired me to just buy a van and build it out. Cost of living was cheaper. I can travel everywhere and perform still. This is my bedroom, and I wanted it to feel like as cozy and close to the bedroom I had for myself in my old apartment as much as possible. So it's adorned with artwork that I laminated so that I could keep it on the walls and I wouldn't have to worry about the humidity and things like that. Inside this one, this is the only cabinet that I have, is like all of my toiletries and things. So like my first aid kit is here. There's also like hair rollers and all the types of things you need when you have to do a show on the road, which is what I do. And then because I didn't just want silver reflectics, like I wanted my space to feel really creative and artsy, all of my window covers I made so they're leopard print. And then these ones, my extra storage, live up there and they just slide into my windows. My bedroom windows are also one of my other favorite things about my van, because I think it gives it a really cool vibe. They're not just a basic window. These back ones are little diamonds. So you kind of get that vintage van vibe. On this side, right, is kind of my day-to-day makeup, sunscreen stuff that I use more regularly. Deodorant, important. And then all my books, which was really hard to pare down. I was definitely a book hoarder, so paring down what books I would bring on the road was really hard. And then I wanted everything to have a place and a purpose in the van, so this also houses my work shoes and all of my little rags that I wear around my hair when I have rollers in. So it gives it like a little bit of decoration, but they also serve a purpose. So the bed is a full-size mattress technically, but we had to cut it down on the ends. So like the very end by the doors I think is closer to whatever the length of a standard full-size mattress is, I forget at this point. And then closer to the middle of the van, it's a lot shorter. I'm 5'6", so I can still sleep pretty comfortably in here, but if I want to stretch out, I have to sleep on the diagonal. And I have a cat with me, so I also just have to hope that he wants to share the bed, which sometimes doesn't happen. One of my favorite things though that I saw in someone else's van and I kind of stole, but then I think improved upon, because that's what you do, right? The bed flips up, but it flips up from the back and can become like a lounge on the inside. But the part that I added on is that it also flips up from the front out this way. So if I happen to be parked somewhere with a really beautiful sunset, I can pop this up and like sit and look out the back doors, which has been really cool. This beautiful panel, which I absolutely love, happened because the ceiling kept falling down back here. So my ceiling it's fiberglass, so I couldn't really screw in to the roof to put in the ceiling and the insulation and all of that. So there are furring strips that are like glued and epoxied onto my fiberglass roof. And then this is just wall paneling because it's really lightweight, so it wasn't gonna add a lot of weight to that. And then this back one, for some reason, just didn't want to stay up. I think it fell down like 3 times during the build process. And so it scratched up the wall panel pretty badly. So I bought this really awesome, like bronzed patinaed plastic panel to put on top of it. And now I feel like it just sort of like, this is the bedroom and this is the rest of the van. So it worked out well. On this side wall of my nightstand, my remote's like, the fan remote has Velcro, so it lives there. But I also have my strip lights. So this is my favorite part of the van. I think I put this in here because I've always had some sort of like red light bulb or red strip light everywhere I've lived because I'm a dancer and I just really like having that. So the front of the van, I wanted a wall, one, because it sort of helps with the temperature. If I open this, it is easily like 10 or 15 degrees warmer in the cab of the van, so this helps keep it cooler, which is nice for me, but also for the cat. And then it's also a safety thing because I'm a woman traveling on my own, so it has a little lock and I can lock it when I'm in here at night, but then it just slides open and I can get to the front of the van really easily. I also just really wanted a mirror because now I have somewhere to do my makeup and things like that, which I thought was really cool. And then in a tiny space, mirrors make everything feel a lot bigger. So I think it makes this small space just feel a lot bigger. And up here is essentially my closet. All of my clothes fit up here. I have just lots of different bins and I just have to pull them out to get to everything. And then the last thing that we didn't really see is I have a pop-up table. So it gives me extra cooking space. Like I can put my stovetop here and then the heat kind of goes out of the van when I'm somewhere I can have the doors open, which is really nice. But then it also serves as a desk. I use the bench and I sit on it and I can eat here and I can work here on my laptop. This is essentially my office. It's my whiteboard of like what's going on in my business from day to day, like what I need to get done. And then this is the same thing. It helps me know what day it is and then what I have coming up client-wise, because I am a personal trainer and I own my own business that I work online. So the van is sort of just like a bedroom in New York City, except the rent's a lot cheaper because there isn't any. The biggest transition has probably been not being around like the hustle and bustle of a city all the time, and as someone who loves the city, I actually find them kind of annoying now, which is interesting. So the paring down started when I left New York. I purposely rented one of like the budget Ford Transit cargo vans to move from New York City to where my parents lived, so I could only bring what would fit in the van, and that was like phase one. And then most of that stuff sat in a storage unit because I was living in a bedroom at my parents'. And I had a giant garage sale and I sold most of my furniture. And then I was just like continuing to get rid of stuff. And it really came down to, do I use this every day? And if not, I don't need it. So back here is the garage, right? This is where we store everything else. I have all my extra shoes because I'm a lady who likes shoes and I wasn't really willing to part with them yet. Probably get there eventually. And that's how my bed pops up in the back. Back here is where I have my extra 2 5-gallon water things. This is just a little support for my bed. And then there's more shoes. And then back here is where I store this is all my extra fabric and costumes that are in progress. And on this side is my electrical system, my ladder, the paint that matches all the paint colors in the van in case I need to touch something up, sewing machine, very important things. And then these are the rest of my costumes, all just organized so I know exactly which bin to pull out. And of course we have our little buddy heater for the very, very cold nights that I have already encountered camping in the forest. And then my favorite part, this was like my dad's job to figure out how we were gonna do this. Since like all the gyms were closed during COVID, I wanted a barbell, so my dad helped me build one, and then it was important to me to bring it on the road. It slides into the van and it pulls all the way out. So I can take this out. I have weight plates stored by the front seat, the driver's seat, and then this just slides back in. So the closet, if I can get this back, there's just a PVC pipe that this slides into. And when that closet was open, it goes all the way to the wall of the closet. So it's in the van and you would never know. And then I have also a fan back there, my hose for when I get fresh water, the filter is here, and then tools and stuff. Yeah, so that's my garage space. It's mostly my burlesque costume closet. was a personal trainer back in New York City, so when everything hit, I turned that into an online business. So I now own my own strength and conditioning and oddly money coaching business that's catered to other women who work in nightlife. And then aside from that, I travel and pick up gigs. So a lot of where I'm traveling to has to do with where I have upcoming gigs at. And I fill in income working at clubs, and that's how I support myself. Yeah, so I actually have multiple Instagrams because I have lots of different jobs. So my van one is just like Grit and Glam Van, and that's mostly like the parental friendly Instagram that I have because everyone in my family wanted to follow what I was doing. But my main Instagram is a burlesque account, and it's, you know, an SFW. But if you want to follow that, you're more than welcome to, and it's just Dottie Dynamo. If you're hesitant about doing something, just do it. I feel like everyone should have great stories, not great regrets.